Hello everyone, I'm your host Thomas28 and welcome back to Cryogenic Simulation. So, as we left off last episode, we should be ready to build some stuff. Lots of stuff. As you can see, I did upgrade the blood altar to tier 4 and added some of the runes to make it a lot easier, especially the runes of self-sacrifice. It makes getting all the slates a much easier job. And with that, I was able to add a little bit of slate automation. Of course, the main issue here is making the charred terracotta. I need to get more of those to keep it going. And I also fumbled around with our tools, upgraded them to Manulian. I made this shuriken because I wanted to see how well it works. And it's cool, it's really fast, it's just really annoying. Mostly because of the low durability that you get from the, ranged weapon. Regardless though, that's not the point of this episode. We need to build a couple things like the Starlight Infuser. Now, I did go ahead and upgrade our altar to the Celestial Altar, so we can make ourselves the Starlight Infuser item. So let me go ahead and grab our... Where's my wand? Do you see it? I'm not seeing it. Where did I put the wand? Okay, not sure where I left the other one. Luckily, I could just craft a new one. So let's see, there should be just enough starlight. Is the starlight? Kind of looks like it's going there. Let's see, this should craft, I'm hoping. Using the Celestial Altar, you don't need too much starlight to actually make this thing, which is pretty nice. It is really slow though. There we go. One Starlight Infuser. Now you can see I did expand the platform out this way, so we can build the thing for this. So let me put this over here. Now what we want to build, Astral Sorcery, we want the Starlight Crafting Altar. Or is it Starlight Infuser? Yeah, it's this one. So let's go ahead and move this around. So we're going to bring this down to the ground like that. Move it over here. And I think that's about, yep, perfect. I put it up a little bit because you can see it has this little base here to hold the Starlight Water. And thank you, Iteration Funk, for teaching me about the printing tool. So as long as you have the items in your inventory, you automatically place all of them down. And since we can fly, it makes it really, really easy. Let's see. I don't have Marble Arch? Huh. Guess not. Okay, I'm going to need 4 Marble Arches, and then we could just take our Liquid Starlight and add that to the bottom here. Go ahead and add these to the corners. Oh, so I did have Marble Arches, I just didn't have enough. And there you go. It's all done. Now to actually do the craft, because we needed this guy to make resonating gems, we need 4 pieces of aquamarine, which I should be able to steal from one of these guys. That's way too much. There we go, 4. And I should be able to just drop them in here and it should work. Unless you have to add something. Oh, there we go. Just hit it with the wand. And now it's going to infuse it into the thing. What thing? I already forgot. The resonating gem. That's the name of it. Yep, there we go. Resonating. And I did not want to... There we go. Put it in there. Cool. Never actually gotten this far. Can you add more than one? You cannot. And it doesn't want to work for some reason. Is there something I'm not doing? There's probably a mechanic here that I don't quite understand, and it probably has to do with starlight. This looks different. Oh, maybe when you do that, it uses up the starlight. So let me grab a bucket, and if we make some more liquid starlight, it should work. So let's see, I can steal it from these guys. I could actually steal it from here, because this is like completely full. Let's see, because I think what happened is when you use it to craft something, because see how it looks a little bit different? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's it. So every time you craft something, it uses up a little bit of the liquid starlight, so you're going to have to re-add it every time. That seems a little annoying. Give me. Why won't you? Nope. Oh, because it's not in it, it's just on top. Let's see. Well, it looks the same now, and it works. Huh. I wonder if it just has a chance to use the liquid starlight. And there we go. Yeah, I guess sometimes it uses the starlight and sometimes it doesn't. That would make it kind of annoying to automate. But if you just have like a dispenser on these... No, that wouldn't work. Be an interesting design problem. So we have resonating gems, glitched hearts, pristine matter, bloodstone bricks, demonic slate. We just need the infused radiant star, which is made in the enderium infusion basin with 16 buckets of starlight, 1 stack of extraterrestrial matter, half a stack of star metal, a quarter stack lumium, 8 more resonating gems. Okay, I'm actually going to have to make more of these. 8 more to be exact. And what else? This takes 4. That's the thing. What am I trying to craft? Oh, this thing. And then the pristine matter. So I went ahead and set up the location on this side over here and put everything inside the chest. So we can grab all of this and remove the chest. And now what we want to build, that's the wrong button, cryogenic simulation. We want the enderium infusion basin. And it looks like that. And I'm going to position this over to the right. That's the wrong way. There we go. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. Printer on. And now I should have all the items in my inventory that I stored in the chest so we can actually build this thing. There is one small caveat, which I'll say after I finish building it. So let's go ahead and fly around the entire structure, make sure everything is placed. Looks like it is. Set this to off and unload. The reason I have this portable tank with resonant ender is that for this guy to work, if we take a look at the machine controller, the status is missing. It doesn't see the correct structure. And that's because, and is this my silk touch one? It is. The inside, let me remove these. The inside of this column is a tank, and we have to fill this tank with enderium. There we go. It holds 16 buckets of molten enderium. So now we can re-add the glass. Now if we take a look, the machine controller changes colors, and the enderium infusion basin is completed. So now we can use this to actually craft the infused radiant star. We just gotta put in all of this. You know, I gotta say, I really enjoy the aesthetic of astral sorcery, but actually using it is very tedious and very annoying. But now we should have everything we need to craft our star. Because if I have to keep making resonating gems to make more stars later on, that's going to be like extremely annoying. So we need to put in the ET matter, star metal, wither matter, enderman matter, lumium, and 8 resonating gems. Does this take power? I actually didn't check that. It does. It takes 5,000 FE per tick and it runs for 200 ticks. And there we go. So now it should work. And it's progressing. Nice. Yeah, because it's like you need infused radiant stars to craft quite a lot of stuff. But if I have to make another 8 resonating gems by hand, that's really, really annoying. Anyways though, we have our first infused radiant star. So now we should be able to craft the Star of the Blood Moon by putting in the rest of our items. So now we come to the Celestial Altar, grab the Star of the Blood Moon recipe, move all the items, and activate the recipe. And there we go. 1 Star of the Blood Moon. And I did a little research. Apparently the flares are just like passive NPCs that spawn when you use a lot of starlight, which is why we keep seeing them spawn like over here. But now that we have the Star of the Blood Moon, we put away this stuff. Don't need that or this. Where's my fish? There we go. I probably need my sword, and maybe the shuriken, and probably my pickaxe. Where's my other pickaxe? This is the... there it is. That one. I should probably upgrade this to Manulian as well, but it really doesn't matter too much, because now we need to head back into the combat simulation and activate the altar. Now let's see here. What are these? Midnight Dirt, the Steadfast Inversion Pillar, and some zombies. Let's see. I can one-shot these guys now that I upgraded the cleaver, which is pretty nice. So now if we Excuse me, zombie, I'm busy working. Now if we right-click this inversion pillar with the star, a dark presence looms above you. It beckons you to enter. The portal does not look stable, you better make haste. Advancement made. The Midnight. The what? Where am I? XC443, where are you right now? You don't show up on our metrics. Wherever you are, it is not a place of our making. We're sending in a waystone so you can get the hell out of there. And now we have entered Midnight. And with that, we unlocked new stuff in the combat simulation chapter. The Midnight Dimension. The real dimension in this chapter of the simulation. Because you were probably thinking, man, that chapter is just like kind of boring. Just fighting vanilla mobs? Nope, this is the real part of it. And we need to establish a little base. And look, some wildlife, some fauna, some night stags. What is this? Raw stag flank can be cooked into cooked stag flank, and we need that for the Midnight Idol, along with Deceitful Snapper, the Root of All Evil, Cooked Stinger, Veiled Rifter Eye, and Roe Crystal. So there's a lot of stuff we have to find in here, which means we need to establish a little bit of a base before we can move on. And then we can take a look at the quest book to see what we need to do here. Alright, so I made a little shack. Luckily, since we can fly, it should keep pretty much anything out, except for us. Thought that was a mob. So let's take a look at what we need to do in Midnight. Magical Flora. Our early scans indicate the natural mushroom flora of the Midnight have a staggering amount of mana. To get started, you'll need to collect ghost plants. You can transmute ghost plants by right-clicking them with the resonating wand. The spore reactor. To harness this primal mana that is inside the mushrooms, you'll need to construct a spore reactor. So we're going to need nightstone, midnight dirt, midnight mycelium, miasma surface, archaic glass panes, a bunch of mushrooms, and a bucket of dark water. To get midnight mycelium, to build the spore reactor, you have to drop regular mycelium into the dark water found in Midnight. Ah, I see. So this is how we're going to unlock Botania. Then we can make a mana tablet with demonic slate surrounded by living rock to make the mana tablet. We can make the mana pool using a blood altar. We can make the petal apothecary using some of our nightstone. And the Lexica Botanica can be crafted just by combining a book with a tree. Now I did see a hostile mob on the minimap, and there it is. What is this? Well, it's dead now. What did it drop? What is that? Hunter wing. Cooked hunter wing. Just food. Gotcha. Now let's see, we have to find a bunch of mushrooms of different types. Luckily it seems like most of them are here. We also need to collect that stuff. Now it said if I hit these with the resonating wand... Where'd my wand go? I just had it. There it is. I was about to say, there's no way I lost it twice. Mystical white flowers. Perfect. What's that? Man, this dimension scares me. Luckily, we don't need to be in here for too long. We just have to collect a bunch of items. What is that? What are you? A rifter. With a lot of armor. You still got one shot all the same. I think we need that though. Veiled Rifter Eyes are used to make the Midnight Idol. So we do need those. We can also use that to make Bones of the Damned. Spooky. So I guess we're going to have to hunt a lot of those guys to get the eyes, but let's continue gathering mushrooms and figuring out what we have to do next. So it looks like the brown, well not the brown, the orange mushrooms are only found near these like big mushroom houses. Well, not houses, they're just mushrooms. And they come in different flavors, different varieties. Let's see, so let's grab a bunch of that. I think that's everything. So we have Night Shroom, Virid Shroom, Dew Shroom, Bog Shroom. We have Midnight Dirt and Night Stone. Now we just need Miasma Surface. How do you make this? Archaic Glass is made from Archaic Shards. Archaic Ore. I did find one of those. Now I just have to find whatever this miasma surface is. Nightstone. Okay, here's the dark water. It just looks like regular water. What do I use this for? We use it to make the petal apothecary, and does it have any other use? Oh, that's how we make the midnight mycelium. We take the regular mycelium and throw it into the dark water. So I'm going to grab a couple buckets of this. Now let's see if we can find some miasma, along with some more of these archaic shards. At least they make it pretty easy to find this archaic ore, which is pretty nice. Let's see, I don't need all this trench stone, because it's essentially, you fly around, and if you find this trench stone up here, you could just excavate the entire rock, and there's usually one archaic ore inside. What is hitting me? Okay, that scared the bejesus out of me. Gotta be worried about those hunters. I completely forgot about them. They don't seem like they spawn too often. They're the only flying thing here that can hurt me. Oh, there we go. Found some miasma and a lot of whatever this liquid is. Miasma bucket. I'm gonna take that. We need miasma surface. Huh. I was flying around this whole area and I didn't see it, but luckily it's really big, so it's really difficult to miss. And there's some more trenchers here. I'm gonna take care of these guys. Ow! Swear, I hate those hunters. Luckily, they don't do tons of damage. They're just really annoying. There we go. And if you noticed, I do have enchanted books that I made with unbreaking and protection. I just wanted to wait until I got mending for the armor before I put it on. But it would have been nice if I had it on before. And there's another hunter. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to grab this miasma block, and then I'm going to leave. And there's another one. Okay, yeah, they seem to spawn really often in this area for some reason. I did not see this many before. Oh, don't turn off create a flight. Okay, grab this. Not sure how much we're going to need, so I'm going to just grab a bunch. Yeah, why are there so many hunters in this area? They must be, like, drawn to it. Like, this is their spawning ground. Alright, 26 should be enough, I think. Let's go ahead and get out of here. I think we got everything we needed. And this place is pretty dangerous. I do like the ambiance, though. This is the real combat simulation. An entire hostile world. Not just spawning, you know, a bunch of vanilla mobs. Because I think we have everything we need to start Botania. We just have to build that fungal generator first. And I'm not actually sure what it's going to take to craft it, but I guess we're going to find out. Alright, home sweet home. Where we're safe from all the dangers. Now let's see, how do I actually build... Okay, so we got miasma surface. We got dark water. We can make the glass panes. Midnight mycelium. Can I craft this? Rich phytogrow, dirt, water. Is there another way to get mycelium? I just quickly jumped into the, whatchamacallit? The lunar realm to get some mushrooms. So now we can use that to make mycelium. We just need a bucket of water and some rich phytogrow. Rich phytogrow, and let me grab my buckets, grab some buckets of water. Should have water right here. We don't need too many. Mycelium. Because then I could just have this spread on dirt. Huh, thought I had more dirt. I'll just plop it down over here. And then I can use Silk Touch to get it later. There we go. So we can make some more mycelium. Because now that we have all of our items, we can go back to the quest book and make ourselves the spore reactor. To harness this primal mana, you'll need a spore reactor, which is made from this guy. And it looks like that. Honestly, pretty cool. Now, does this need power? Spore reactor uses? No, it just needs dark water, mushrooms, powder from other mushrooms, and then we can make spore mana dust and infestation spores. So this is called the midnight... No, that's not what it's called. The spore reactor. We'll go ahead and build it on this side over here. Wait a minute. Can I build an infinite water supply out of dark water? Is that a thing? Let me grab some blocks. What do we have a lot of? We have a lot of terracotta. Let's see. Can I build an infinite dark water source? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Grab our dark water. And no, you cannot. Is dark water renewable? Uses, crafting, dark water. Does not look renewable. Maybe the quest book says something about it. And dark water can be found in many places, but there are larger lakes we recommend you pump it from. Okay, so we just have to pump it the same way I'm doing like the gasoline. Not the gasoline, the oil. So now if we come to cryogenic, we want the spore reactor. Yeah, that's as good of a spot as any. We could probably put it on the ground though. Then let's back it up just a little bit. Perfect. Now, if I grab the rest of our items, I just need the glass, which we can make. And I just need the mycelium to spread. You could see it needs 4 of those. Go ahead and grab this stuff, archaic shards. I think, yeah, their only use is making archaic glass. So if I turn all of it into glass, it doesn't matter. And then archaic glass has the only use of making the glass panes. Perfect. Let's see, so I should be able to place some of this. If we grab the rest of our items, nightstone, midnight dirt, trench stone. I wonder, can you spread it on dirt? Probably not, but we need it to make runes of earth. So now let's see what we can place here. Printer on. Okay, that's most of it. What is this? Nightstone, that looks like... What am I doing? I could just check schematica. Materials. Nightstone bricks, bogshroom shelf, bogshrooms, nitrum shelf, nightstone stair slabs, and walls. Oh, I see. There's the problem. After constructing the spore reactor in the midnight, it will only function there. You can start producing spore mana dust. Yeah, because I finished it, and then I was like, huh, the nightstone, I mean not the nightstone, the mycelium keeps turning back into nightstone. I don't think that's supposed to happen. So now I gotta tear it down and move it into the midnight. Okay, so I guess we could build this guy just floating. Don't think it matters too much. Spore reactor. What hit me? Something hit me, I think. How did you get up here? Did you can they climb walls? No, I don't think that's the case. Luckily, they don't do too much damage regardless. So let me go ahead. Oh, I definitely want to make this have an enclosure, right? Wait a minute. Is that miasma over there? I think that is. Anyways, so let's go ahead and move this guy that way. Move it down. Right there's good. Printer on. And it'll take everything from my inventory to rebuild it, which is very nice. I gotta say I love it. Oh, I need to replace the mycelium though. What am I missing? We need... I have the shrooms. And... what happened to the controller? Did I not grab it? I guess I didn't. And there we go. The spore reactor, fully built. These guys are going to be very annoying, so I probably need to build like a perimeter or something. Now, what do we do with this? And I need to read it inside so I don't get attacked by a hunter. You can use it to produce spore mana dust. This can be then further melted into primal mana. This magical liquid can be transposed into a mana tablet. Interesting. So we have that stuff, spore mana. So we take dark water, mushrooms, powder from any dust mushroom to make spore mana dust and an infestation spore, which I believe is used to make mycelium, if I remember correctly. Okay, that's funny. So the minimap is working. I went all the way around this way, found miasma, and I was right, there was miasma right over here. What I do need now though is a source of dark water that we can pump for a large amount of. And then I need to start growing mushrooms in the garden close so we can get a bunch of mushrooms too. Well, I went around the area trying to find a big lake that it mentioned, I couldn't find any. I found some like small-ish ponds, so that kind of works. But at least we can throw in our mushrooms and our bog shroom powder. That should turn it into our primal mana. There we go, spore mana dust and the infestation spores. Now we need this to make irradiated gear of mana and life, and it looks like we're going to need only 16. What are these for? You only need 1 and 1, so honestly we probably don't need too much of this, but we do need to melt it down for primal mana. So having this fully automated is going to be pretty important. Luckily we can hook up a garden cloche to an ender chest to have that always push in. Once I find a source of dark water, we can use another fluid ender tank to push it into there, and then we can pretty much always be making it, which is pretty good. Now, apart from the bog shrooms, I forget. Powder. Spore bomb. But this can be grown in the phytogenic insulator, so it's all fully automated. It's fully automatable, and there's only really like 3 steps you have to do, so making this stuff, making our spore mana dust, shouldn't really be that difficult. Okay, so now we should be able to start with some Botania. So first things first, we need a pure daisy, which is going to take some of this, so we can take these guys to turn into mystical white petals and make ourselves one petal apothecary. And let's see, we'll do Botania on this side. Botania is pretty big, needs a lot of space. Now we can make a pure white daisy. This takes water, doesn't it? Oh, the bucket's still in the AE system. Yeah, if I remember my Botania correctly, we need to take a bucket of water and put it in there. And I believe you can put a fluid pipe on this to keep it always full of water. Do that. Pure daisy is 4 of these. Drop those inside. Oh, then you have to add a seed. I think I have some seeds lying around. Does beetroot work? If not, maybe I have some wheat? I do not. I can head into the first simulation to grab some wheat, but I'm hoping this works. It does. Perfect. Gives me a use for all the beetroots. Now we can use the pure daisy to turn nightstone into living rock. Let's see. So it's probably going to be a good idea to automate this stuff. Oh, right. This needs a bit of dirt, because it's pretty tedious doing it all the time. Nightstone is not renewable though, right? You have to just mine it. Dirt. Midnight dirt. I wonder if that works. And we'll grab some more nightstone. Midnight dirt, trenchstone, nightstone. And convert that into living rock. That goes in here. You go on top. Does it reach here? Don't remember. I think it has to be right there. Yeah, it does. And that'll give us our living rock. Then we can use living rock with demonic slate to make the mana tablet. Then we can make the mana pool. Let's see, there's the apothecary. It's funny the apothecary is that far back when you need it to first get access to the living rock. Mana pools can store 2 full mana tablets worth of mana, and primal mana can be transposed into the mana tablet. That's probably the most useful thing I've seen all day. Usually it's pretty annoying generating mana. Oh, but that just means it's very important that we fully automate the process, because I don't think we have... If we take a look, Botania, can I craft any of the mana generating flowers? Like the endoflame. Huh, yeah, there's no endoflame. Gore... Huh. Yeah, some of the functional flowers are here, but I don't think there's any mana generating flowers. So to make mana in this mod pack, we have to make it from spore mana dust. Okay, that's actually very interesting. That kind of does away with the, what's the word I'm looking for? The endoflame spam that I'm always doing, you know? Just spamming endoflames. But that just makes it even more important that I fully automate the process, which means I really need to find a source of water that's very big, and it's not going to run out anytime soon. Now we are generating mushrooms pretty fast. Yeah, as you can see there, 160. It's going pretty quickly. So I just need to automate that, the bloom shrooms, and the water, so we can keep generating spore mana dust to make our mana. Okay, so interestingly enough, the bog shrooms in the phytogenic insulator are not fully renewable. the most you could get is a 50% chance. And because I'm cheap, I'm using the very basic phytogrow, which is only a 20% chance. But you can take the bog shroom caps and combine that with mushrooms to remake the bog shroom. So I think on average, it's not that great, since we're only making, what is this? Each one grows into 6, and then I have to use 3 to remake it with a 20% chance. So we're producing a 3 bog shroom profit, which translates into 6 bog shroom powder, which is not bad, as this can keep running, you know, forever. And since we don't have to put any augments on this, if you use the drawer system, it should be pretty functional for now. Now we just have to get a bunch of living rock to build the rest of the stuff, and I still need to find a source of water so we can continuously produce spore mana, but then we should be pretty good on mana generation. So now that we've produced a little bit of living rock though, we can go ahead and take that and convert the blood altar into a mana pool, turn our demonic slate into a mana tablet. Now we just need to build a fluid transposer so we can push the primal mana into the mana tablet. And it looks like the ratio is 4 buckets of primal mana is half a mana pool, which is honestly pretty efficient because 1 spore mana dust is a quarter bucket. So to fill a mana pool only takes 16 spore mana dust. I think I'm doing the math right, which is honestly probably the most efficient mana generation in Botania I've ever seen. Anyways, now we need to use that mana, so we need to make the runic altar. We need a mana spreader, you know, pretty standard Botania stuff. You've seen me do it all before. Wander the forest, rune crafting to make some runes, yada yada. I think this is just saying how to automate. This can be automated with mechanical users, gotcha. Then once we have Terra Steel, make the portal to Alfheim. Okay, gotcha. Augment the sparks. Okay, so this is pretty standard Botania stuff, which is honestly, this is honestly a much easier way of doing Botania once we fully automate the fungus mana. Okay, so I think I have it mostly automated. I'm not actually sure how I'm gonna make this part like be very efficient, because what I'm doing is I have this ender chest full of stone to act as like a filter, and on the other side the AE system is pushing mushrooms and the bog shroom powder into this item input hatch. But as you can see, we're out of bog shroom powder, which is going to cause a problem. Now, I was able to find a big water source way over there. Let's see if we can pass that over yonder. Yeah, so there was a pretty big water source over here that I'm using to continuously pump water into our, whatchamacallit, what is this called again? Spore reactor. So now we can start producing spore mana dust somewhat, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Automatically. I just need to figure out a better way to do this, because essentially, eventually this entire thing is going to get filled, and I'm not sure if I can filter it using like Ender IO or something. I don't know if I can make that better. So let's head back to the void base. And funny enough, my biggest bottleneck right now is actually niter. Now let's see, we have 1098 of that. I should be able to tell it to make the bog shroom powder though, right? Bog. Yeah, craft. Oh, because I don't have a crafting card in here. I need to put a crafting card in that. That way it'll craft the bog shroom powder when it needs to. So for now, let me just go ahead and craft ourselves. See, we have 1,000 of this. Let's go ahead and craft like 500. So we can generate some mana. And then I have this one all the way over here with our spore mana dust. And then I'll hook up some power here so we can take the spore mana dust, melt it down into primal mana, and then put that into the mana tablets. Now I did fully automate the pure daisy. This is pretty overkill. You do not need to set it up like this. Just putting a single formation plane and a single annihilation plane works just fine. I just like having a lot of the living stone because I like using it as a building material. And I'm guessing we're going to need quite a lot of it. If we take a look at the quest book, we do need a stack of it to make the mastery token for the combat simulation. I'm not sure when we're going to need that yet. I'm not sure when we're going to quite need that yet though. But as you know from Botania, you do need living rock to craft pretty much everything, so it's a good idea to have a lot of this. Well, I gotta say, this method of Botania has honestly been a pretty fresh, what's the word? Breath of Air. Mostly because I like being able to just take primal mana and put it into the mana pools, because it makes generating mana really easy. My current bottleneck right now is actually the brown mushrooms, and not the boom thingamabobs. Anyways though, the last thing I wanted to show off was how to automate the runic altar recipes, because I thought that'd be pretty important, mostly because I myself don't know how to do it fully automatically, so I thought this would be a good time to learn. Now, what I'm assuming you need to do, right? So this is what it takes to craft the runes, and we're going to need to automate this because it's really tedious. Now, some of them do have some more exotic items, like geodes, while the rest are stuff we can already craft pretty easily, like the TNT, Enderium ingots. Like if we look at this, there's a couple stuff we don't have. More blood ravens. I need to set up the RF tools spawner. Or no, the industrial foregrowing spawner, so we can just make blood ravens, because we can't get blood raven feathers otherwise. Regardless though, it has a pretty big craft, which is really annoying. So essentially what you have to do, in this case, is this is where the extended processing pattern actually comes in. Over here, as you can see here, it's much bigger with 16 slots. So if we come and take some of these blank patterns and put them in here, we should be able to do rune of fire, like that. Now the issue here is you can see it adds stuff you don't need, like the runic altar. That's not needed. You just need all of this stuff. But what makes it kind of tricky is if you've used Botania, you know you have to add all the items to the runic altar, then you have to add living rock, and then you have to hit it with your wand of the forest. So let me add living rock here. You're going to add 1 to the end, because this order is how they get pushed from the ME interface into the inventory. So it's going to push the imbued slate first, and then the living rock last, and it's going to assume it's going to make a rune of fire. So now we're going to encode the pattern, and come out over here. And I'm just using the open crate for this from Botania, because the open crate is essentially, it's an inventory you can't access, but you can push stuff into it, and all it does is make it fall out from the bottom. So now, when we try to craft this, it's going to take all these items, it's going to drop them onto the runic altar, and I have this mechanical user with another wand of the forest set to right-click in front of it. Now what should happen is it should just work. I'm guessing. I'm not actually quite sure since I've never done this before. But to actually do the rune of fire and the other ones, we can actually just set up all of them right now and then add them in. So that's the rune of fire. So we're going to add the rune of air, and let me grab the living rock. And this is why it's good that you automate living rock, because you're going to need it to craft the runes. So rune of air is next. Take off the runic altar, add a living rock. Then rune of mana. Then the rune of earth. And finally the rune of water. Okay, and some of these I don't have autocrafts for, like the infinite water source, so I guess I'm gonna have to automate that. Didn't think we'd need to. Now let's see, the rune of mana I think is the easiest one, rune of mana, because that's mana steel and mana pearl, which is just diamonds and iron. So let's go ahead and grab that. We're going to need a bit of iron and a bit of diamond. And then you can also automate these as well, because it works the same way as dropping item in fluid automation. Now I set this up just so I can have more mana pools for the sparks later on. So we could just go ahead and drop the iron ingots. How does that work? Iron ingot. Oh, is that not mana steel? Oh, it's steel. Okay, gotcha. Usually it's iron, but making it be steel is actually pretty standard from what I've seen. And what about the mana pearl? Oh, these are ender pearls. I believe this stuff does have a use though. So we can go ahead and drop these in here. Huh, I guess this mana pool doesn't have enough mana. Let's see, we can go ahead and take this one though. And drop the rest of this, and the rest of that. I guess that's it. There's probably some in here though. Yep, there we go, and in this one. Give me that. And that's fine, that should be enough. And the automation for this is actually pretty easy. You just have your fluid transposer with the primal mana, have your input and output be automatically enabled, throw in your mana tablet, and it just pulls it in and it'll refill it, which is really nice. So now that we have those, let's throw them into the system. Like so. And actually, I didn't set up any way to actually grab it, right? So let's see if it works. And then I could just put it in manually. So we're going to tell it to make a rune of mana. All available. Start. So now if we come over here, it all got dropped. It right-clicked it. Huh. So it dropped... Oh, so I think this should work though, right? Because it dropped all the ingredients, so now it's storing the mana to do the craft. And then I think since the living rock is still there, it should work. Let's see, the mechanical user is supposed to be right-clicking it right now, though. Let's see, why aren't you right-clicking? Left-click? No. Entity? No. Generic click? No. Place block? No. Use item on block? There we go. So use item on block is what you need to do. So make sure this is right-click, upper left slot only, use item on block, and then it drops the rune of mana. So now to finish the craft, just throw that back in there. So now we just need a way to pick it up, which I think we could just use the vacuumulator. Vacuum, that's not how you spell it, that's the opposite, vacuum. Yeah, we could just use the vacuumulator to pick it up, which it might pick up this though, which is not good. We could filter the vacuumulator, so it doesn't matter too much. So then we'll have the vacuumulator suck up the result, or actually, we'd have to filter it to only be drops from the runic altar. No, you could do a blacklist. So we could just, oh, but there'd be so much to blacklist. What's a good way to do this? Oh, I know a good way to do this. We could do a, what's the word? You can use the annihilation plane, because you can filter the annihilation plane with a lot more filters like this. You can just set up a drawer system to hold it, and then we could just filter way more stuff for the runic altar, because I believe this guy has 9 pages. Okay, so that's only 18, so this should work. There's not too many filters we have to set up. Because my only issue is, since the living rock does take a while to get used, if you use a vacuumulator, it might pick it up, and the vacuumulator will want to suck up pretty much everything. I wonder what other people use. It might just be the annihilation plane. Oh, there it is. I knew it wasn't crazy. So the mana diamonds are made from the infused diamonds, which will take the dimensional shards. I do like how they've intermingled all of these. Okay, so then I'll just automate this one in between episodes, because this one's pretty simple. It's just have a dropper drop into the mana pool and then have it filtered for the outputs. So it's pretty easy. Then add a vacuumulator there, and we're pretty good to go. Now, to make this go faster, I think I need to add, what's the word? We have a good amount in there. I need to add another place to grow my mushrooms, because they grow an okay amount, but I need more of them. So I might just change this to the, where is it? Phytogenic insulator. And I think I'll fully set up making fluxed phyto grow to make it grow a lot faster. It's just a little annoying because to make it you need rich slag, and rich slag is so annoying to get. Even after all this time running, you know, this guy, our induction smelter, I don't even think we have a lot of rich slag. Rich slag. Yeah, we only have 700. So if I start using that to make phyto grow, it's going to get very expensive. We can use it to make 16 at a time, but since I'm running this all the time, it's going to run out pretty quickly. And I think we need it for other stuff as well. Yeah, you need half a stack to make hyper-nutritious worm milk. And I'm not sure how to get this in higher amounts, apart from doing like more thermal expansion stuff. But this episode may not have gone on quite long enough. But I feel like this is a good stopping point before we delve into other stuff. There's a few more key things I need to fully automate. We need to get Blood Raven feathers. We need to do the Blessed Blood, which is no, that's Tinker's Blood. I want the, not the Blessed Blood. Oh, Essence, that's what it's called. Essence, Life Essence. I need to build a digital mob agonizer, which should be coming up in this next chapter, I think. Meteoric Rise. Yeah, the digital mob agonizer, because this is going to be very useful for making LP without having to do all the blood altar stuff. It's just a fully automatic way. The way you have to do it normally is like set up a, like get a witch, name tag it, and then throw it into the ritual to like suck the blood forever. But using this is just a lot easier. So the next couple chapters, Meteoric Rise, A Grave Development, and Done with Darkness, should all be finished next episode, which is pretty good. We're making great progress. Botania has probably been the easiest part of this so far. I'm really liking it. I like how Botania feels. Usually Botania is always a slog, because you just throw like 50 ender flames in one spot, and then just go, yep, that's my mana generation. I'm never changing this, unless there's like a better one. Which is usually like only better because you combine it with other mods to make the efficiency so much greater. Because Botania is probably one of my favorite tech mods. It's just so annoying because it's all the information is hidden from you. Anyways though, enough yapping from me. I'm your host, Hamas28, and I'll see you all next time.